White Marlin will look to secure his ticket to the Melbourne Cup in the Andrew Ramsden on Saturday. He suffered his first career loss last time out at Pakenham, where he carried a heavy weight and was back in trip. Do you think he will relish stepping up to 2,800 metres with Jordan Childs in the saddle?
Yeah, most certainly. As we said, the conditions weren't necessarily ideal for him at that particular start there last time out, but it was all done with this race in mind, and hopefully that's been the right setup for him. It's a similar pattern to what he followed last preparation, being third up at this trip at this particular track. So it was obviously a dominant performance on that occasion. So hopefully we can see him take that next step and really bounce back to winning form once again.
The Scone Cup Carnival takes place this weekend, and the stable has a number of runners on the Saturday, including Air to Air and RIDUNA in the Group 3 in the Dark Jewel Classic. What can you tell us about their chances?
I think both chances, you can put a line through their last start. Obviously, the conditions deteriorated very quickly at Rose Hill. They both struggled in those heavy track conditions. So looking for a more favourable track at Scone. Air to Air, I think she's been training well. She's looking for this trip. The big track will suit. Just needs a little bit of luck. RIDUNA, on the other hand, she's there usually making her own luck from front. She's in great order, trained on well. We just never saw her able to let down properly last start. So with the right conditions, I think we can see big improvement from both mares.
FRENEMY will make her debut in the listed Woodland Stakes for Trilogy Racing. This 2-year-old daughter of Written Tycoon has trialled twice leading into Saturday's race. Can she break her maiden at the first time of asking with Regan Bayliss in the saddle?
Yeah, it's certainly not an easy task, breaking your maiden first time out in stakes company against some more seasoned opposition. It's usually a race that's provided plenty of quality fillies going forward. So it's not an easy task for her, but I feel she's a nice filly for us going ahead. I think she'll improve nicely off Saturday's run, but she's taken good improvement from both the trials. She's been particularly pleasing in those trials. I thought she's a nice, tough filly and quite naturally talented, hence the reason we're happy to throw in the deep end here. So I think she'll run a very credible race for us. Looking forward to seeing her make her debut.
So United put in a great second-up performance to finish second at Canterbury last time out. He's up in trip and class on Saturday. Are you expecting him to run a big race for Blue Blood Thoroughbreds?
Yes, certainly. I think he's improving nicely throughout this campaign. Traditionally, the pattern that he does show throughout his preparations. He'll be suited by the step up in trip here. I think he's looking forward at this point of the preparation. A very courageous performance last start. He's made it a bit of work at both ends. I thought he stuck on very well. So a horse that's improving will appreciate the trip, and you think he'll be well placed here.
Resonator has 2 trials under his belt ahead of the benchmark 72 handicap over 1,300 metres. Is this son of Brazen Bow ready to fire first up for Newgate Farm and Connections?
Well, I certainly feel he's returned in much better order this preparation. I feel he's more forward and in better condition than we've had him first up previously. The 1,300 metres should be an ideal trip and distance for him. There's a little bit of give in the track at present, which is very suitable for him. If it can remain that way, I think he'll be able to run up to his best, and certainly his performances at his best has him being very competitive here.
The stable has a number of runners at Kembla on Saturday, including Surf on Turf in the Class 1 handicap over 1,200 metres. The son of Not a Single Doubt returned in terrific order, winning on debut this preparation, but things didn't get a plan for him on a second up run. Talk us through his chances.
Yeah, he was excellent first up. It was a very tough performance in contrast to his last start, where he led them up and weakened out of the race quite noticeably. He's come out of that race in good order. We've made the addition of a tongue tie for Saturday's race. I think that small change can make a difference for him. If he's able to settle and relax and find a nice rhythm in the race, I think we can certainly see him bounce back to his best.
DELIBES will make his debut for Newgate Farm and Connections in the maiden handicap over 1,200 metres. Is this an ideal starting point for this 2-year-old colt by More Than Ready?
It is. Wanted to get him to a nice big track, which Kembla Grange certainly is. The 1,200 metres should suit him. He does look to be a horse that will continue to improve over a little bit further later in his preparation, but he's nice and forward for this with the 2 solid trials. So I think he's ready to go and will certainly run a competitive race.
Okatena returns to the races after his recent spell, and he will look to break his maiden over 1400 metres. How has the son of Savabeel returned from his recent break?
He looks in good order. He's matured nicely, which he needed to, mentally and physically. His trials have been good for the type of horse that he is and where he's at in his preparation. I appreciate kicking off over the 1400 metres. That'll certainly help his chances be better placed over a little bit further later in the campaign.
HYDE Park has headed north to contest the 2-year-old handicap over 1400 metres to the Sunshine Coast. This 2-year-old colt by Spirit of Boom was fourth on debut a fortnight ago. And how has he improved since his debut run?
I thought it was a very good performance on that occasion. It's going to be a race with a fair bit of depth to it. I feel the soft conditions on the day he really struggled in. He was in trouble a long way from home on that particular day, but I thought he stuck on really well. His work's been excellent. He's trained on nicely. So this looks to be a very suitable race for him. Obviously stepping up to the 1400 metres, he looks well placed. I expect him to be very hard to beat.